everyone, Nicole Cordoves here. Long time no see, but it's that time of the year once again where we do the Miss Universe question and answer review. I'm so excited to do this every year, and the purpose of this segment is not really to justify which answer is better than the other, although that's part of it, but of course all of us would have our own opinion. But more than that, I wish that through this platform, we could contribute to deepen the conversation surrounding it, especially when Miss Universe usually asks the more controversial questions, social issues that need to be tackled. So at least we have that platform and contribute to the conversation. Even though in the previous editions, we have observed that they have been asking like the controversial, difficult questions, especially back in 2015 during Pia's time. This edition, they have watered down the questions a bit and it became more women-centric instead of like tackling social issues. I guess it's because of their redirection as to what they're looking for in the next Miss Universe. So I think that was a good reinforcement tactic as to how they would define what a Miss Universe is in the coming years. And also, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this was the quickest and fastest Q&A segment. It was like just throwing one question after the other. It didn't even have time to simmer that much, and I feel like the judges would have to be like scoring immediately. I kind of felt bad for the judges because they don't have time to just really digest the answer. They just call the next girl immediately. So this might also just be one of the quickest reviews that I've ever done. So let's get down to business. So the first candidate to be called for the first round of the question and answer portion is Miss Venezuela. This is actually my favorite question out of all the questions during this edition. Tell me about the time you felt shame and how you turned that feeling into fuel. And what I'm missing from her answer is the very definition of shame or the very feeling of shame. Usually it's like the lowest point or a low point in your life that you would have a hard time opening up or talking about because you're not proud of what you did. The dictionary definition is actually like a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. So I thought that she was going to share like a very personal experience from her life that she went through where she actually felt shame. Like maybe a previous belief that she had, or maybe even posted online. Maybe she tweeted something that she's not proud of, and then she changed her beliefs now because she has come across new information and is now a better person because of it. You know, admitting things like that, because at some point in our lives, we probably did something that we are not proud of. But that's just an example, which is based on her answer alone. It seemed like she interpreted shame in such a way that she didn't feel confident enough to pursue her passions, or she didn't get the security that she wants to have in pursuing that passion. And the word shame in itself is more than just like an embarrassing story, you know? It's something that is very hard to admit or open up about because usually it's like a really low point in your life, something you would probably want to erase from the history of your life. And it could have been a good opportunity for her to really solidify herself as a transformational leader that Miss Universe is looking for. But then I feel like her answer actually left us with more questions, like why did she feel ashamed about pursuing her passion as a fashion designer? Was it because she thought that she wasn't good enough to do it? She said something about it not being able to sustain her life. So I was thinking like, were you trying to pursue a more stable job and you have to sacrifice that in order to become a fashion designer? Or if she really wanted to push this answer, maybe she could have said that she was ashamed of ever doubting herself. Maybe that would have been a more passable answer, but I believe that it did not capture the depth of the question. Next up is Miss USA, where she answered that she would increase the age limit for Miss Universe. And I actually love this answer because the age limit always felt like an expiration date on another girl's dream to pursue pageantry. Although I do wish that when she mentioned that she was 28, she could have tackled about how women are limited by their age. Because I feel like something that men do not actually experience is that women have a biological time clock. That's why society always tells us that, you know what, you have to be married by this age and you have to freeze your eggs if you still want to have children at this age and that age. So even though we want to take our time, we can't really take our time because of those limitations. So I wish that she could have listed down these limitations that women face every day at every season of their life. We always feel like the clock is ticking, and then the opportunities just get more and more limited as the years go by. So by enumerating these limitations, she could have also inserted like an empowering message or an inspiring message to encourage women to break free from this and how they could still continue pursuing their passions regardless of their age or the season that they're in. And then that's when she could have perfectly inserted her favorite quote that if not now, then when. Although her answer was concise enough, it was powerful enough to get her to the next round. The next candidate for this round is Miss Puerto Rico. And this was actually more trivial for me because I felt like her answer was powerful enough to make her part of the top 3. But let's break it down a little. So Miss Puerto Rico came across as a very powerful speaker. Her stance, her voice, her connection with the audience was there. Even felt like I was listening to a motivational speaker. And I love the line that she threw in that goes, "Let your voice echo in the chamber of time." And I feel like that was put so beautifully. So I was wondering why this answer was not powerful enough to push her to be part of the top 3, because I feel like she does deserve that spot. So I had to come up with a few theories myself just to figure out what went wrong. So let's start with the question, and it goes like, how would you represent all of this year's delegates through your reign? So maybe the judges felt that her answer was more a general description of the platform that she will inherit. Or another possibility is that the judges were looking for what she could actually offer to this platform that she is describing. Like, out of all the beautiful and empowered delegates standing on the stage with her, what is that one unique thing that only she could contribute to the platform? I really still think that her answer was one of the more powerful ones in this round. Up next is Miss Curacao, and I love the energy that she started off with in her answer, the way she greeted the people. It felt like she was this very open and accessible person. Like, she's this girlfriend you can talk anything about with. And it felt like she was very relatable. And I was like, oh, maybe this is the kind of speaker that Miss Universe needs to establish a connection once again with their fans. And then she started off her answer by touching on the social landscape of her country. She gave hints that it's a multicultural country. So we can imagine already like what problems go with it. And if you have one chance to speak to your country's leader, you would go big, like the national issues itself of the country. So I thought she would bring up diversity, inclusion. So from a macro issue where I thought it was going towards the direction of like diversity and inclusion, or maybe even racism, we don't know because we're not really familiar with the social landscape of Curacao and what the country is facing right now. And Miss Universe is exactly that platform in order to familiarize and connect other people to their country. But then if that's actually like a major issue in their country, then it should be raised. We do not invalidate that. But she could have expounded on that though. Like, okay, why is bullying the most pressing issue that you want to raise with the leader of your country? How is it pervasive right now in your society? So at the tail end of her answer, it was obvious that she cut it short. It was rushed. And I wish that she could have described the issue more. And finally, we have Miss Dominican Republic. And the way she answered the question, she reminded me of the Miss Universe queens of India during their golden era. She had this really powerful stance and stable and strong composure. I really liked how she registered during this round. In her answer, she touched on education, which is an advocacy that we hear time and again on the pageant stage, especially since it still remains a prevailing issue in a lot of countries around the world. But what I like about what Miss Dominican Republic did is that she added depth to this answer. It wasn't the usual education can brighten up your future or could be the ticket to success. She added how we need to make sure that kids are able to be kids and they want to play to educate themselves. And then she dives deeper into this by saying, not be mothers, not be wives. She gave us a glimpse of a serious issue that kids are probably facing in her country without necessarily directly spelling the issue out and getting herself into trouble. This was definitely my favorite answer in this round because it was clear-cut, it was tangible, and it left no blanks, no questions unanswered. It was a total package, and at this point, I was actually rooting for her that, oh, maybe this girl would win Miss Universe. And then they were cut down to top 3. The first girl to answer in this round of Q&A is Miss Dominican Republic. Although she did not register quite the same way during the first round, she looked very stiff and her tone was very robotic at this point. Maybe she got nervous, maybe she got pressured, but it was definitely a far cry from her first round of Q&A. But even though she had a strong answer, it did not translate with her body language, with her facial expressions, and she failed to connect to the audience. So it sounded like she was dictating her answer. It sounded memorized, actually. So my heart broke a little because of that, because she did so well in the first round and it was a flawless performance. So I didn't know what happened from the few minutes between those rounds, especially when you have already seen what she is actually capable of. The next candidate to answer in the second round is Miss USA, but we're gonna jumble it up a little. Let's go with Miss Venezuela first and end with Miss USA and her crowning moment. So compared to Miss Venezuela's answer in the first round, she did a lot of things right in this second round. I like when she said, Miss Universe chooses women who inspire with their messages and transform with their actions. And how she ended her answer with, she's a fashion designer by profession, but a designer of dreams as a woman. And then her facial expressions were she was very sure of her answer and she knew that she had it in the bag. And her answer just rolls off the tongue. It was short, it was sweet, it was concise, it was memorable. If she would have been crowned Miss Universe, it would have been easily a quotable answer. And then there was Miss USA, who really solidified her resume that, you know what, I am your Miss Universe. I feel like she did her homework. She pulled the Pia words back where she used the tagline of the pageant. When Pia used confidently beautiful with a heart in her answer, this time Miss USA incorporated into her answer what Miss Universe is looking for in this edition, which is being a transformational leader. And I feel like starting off her answer with that, she already showed the judges that, you know what, I understand the job description and I am the girl for this job. She checked all the boxes by presenting to everyone her resume, what her advocacy is, the work she has done with them, how long she has been doing this, and also balance this off with an inspirational message that inspires people to do the same. And what I appreciate with how she answered this question is, even though the bell rang already, meaning that her time is up, she was unfazed and she was really graceful in dealing with it. She didn't even flinch. She was just determined to finish her answer and get to the end. And that wraps it up for our Miss Universe 2022 Q&A review. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comment section below how you would answer certain questions. Which answers of the candidates did you like best? And of course, I want to take this time to thank Celeste Cortesi for representing the Philippines so well. A lot of fans obviously were able to just enjoy the beautiful journey that you had with you. I thought actually that Celeste's face card, which is at 100, would make her a shoo-in for the top 5. So I was very surprised that she didn't even get into the top 16. But the surprising candidates that were included in the top 16, I think reinforced the redirection that Miss Universe is taking now as to what they are looking for in their next Miss Universe winners. And it was a really strong statement because they did drop a lot of countries with the strongest sash factors. So I feel like with this move, they actually made a very clear statement as to the qualities that they are looking for in the next Miss Universe candidates. We have this whole year to recalibrate what us pageant fans call like the formula in pageantry now that we know what they are looking for. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video and hit the notification bell so that you won't have to miss an episode. See you till the next video, which is coming up soon, I promise.